glad and very happy to have you in one of my episodes in Lean Manufacturing podcast. And personally, I am someone that after I saw your long career in manufacturing is something that is very impressed. And to have you in one of my episodes is something
Thank
that
you.
really blow off my mind. So let's start a little bit about yourself, about how did you introduce in this world of manufacturing of Lean Six Sigma, and giving us a little idea how have been your go through in all of these years. Uh, have you feel successful? Have you feel regret, or basically have I will say that you have been learning in a lot for many contexts.
The Buddhists say that life is falling down a well with your eyes open. So I've been very fortunate and very successful. The lean movement has not. So this is being successful in a defeat, if you see what
Yeah,
I mean. So mixed feelings about this, mixed feelings. But
excellent.
very fortunate. I've met extraordinary people, and I've had the opportunity to actually participate in true lean transformations. So personally, I'm very happy. The overall, what we wanted to achieve with the lean movement at the beginning hasn't happened. So this is a downside.
Excellent, excellent.
Mixed feelings.
Mixed feeling, right?
Yes.
Michael, I would like that if you can share with us. Nowadays, we see too many changes, economically wise, political wise. Every day is something new, and owners, business owners, they need to be prepared. They need to be prepared for one step ahead. Um, in order to be successful on their business. So how lean manufacturing can collaborate with the changes that happening in the world without impacting their own businesses.
I don't know if you've noticed, but the word progress has disappeared. Up to the year 2000, we believed in progress. We were building a shining city on the hill when everybody's life would be better, and better mostly because we would have better products and better conditions of work and a fairer society. And it was born by liberal democracy. That was what I grew up with. And we thought we were winning after the fall of the wall and the elections in South Africa. So many things were getting better. China was getting out of poverty. But I don't know if you've noticed the word progress is not used anymore. We have innovation now. Innovation doesn't mean progress. Innovation means one damn thing after of the other.
Mm.
Innovation means survival of the fittest or survival of the luckiest. I don't know. So I don't know how to answer your question because uh, to understand lean, you have to understand this the mystery or the miracle of Toyota, which is progress. They still believe in progress. They constantly progress. They've been doing this for as long as I've studied them. They have the highest volume of their industry with the profitable ability of a boutique luxury house. So they're at the level of Volkswagen and GM with the profitability of BMW. It's crazy,
Crazy.
and they've been doing this for forever. It's not like the other automotive companies with 3 good years and 3 bad years and blah blah blah. No, it's the same. So there is another vision of industrial society that Toyota has invented, but that is not the case. Now, if you want to really look and go into this, you have to compare Toyota and Tesla. Toyota is delivering progress, and it really has. Is delivering a different way of working, is delivering a really overall low carbon solutions slowly, is delivering to customers. A hybrid is a brilliant innovation. And then we have Tesla. Tesla is Ford's dream, Henry Ford's dream. This is the American dream. You can have any Tesla you want as long as it's a black or white one in fully automated ideas. And the whole thing rests on valuation that, as we see now, is completely inflated by market. And this dream of full electric that we've known all the time, we cannot sustain.
Yeah.
Because electricity comes from burning coal. There's no way around that. So it's a scam. Brilliant engineer. Absolutely, exactly like Henry Ford. Brilliant engineer, Elon Musk. Fantastic engineer. Incredible instincts. And just like Henry Ford, completely nuts on the social side. We know all about Henry Ford with history now, but we know his ideas were just completely brilliant engineer and with crazy social ideas. So we're seeing the same thing. So again, this is a very difficult question because not everybody dreams the same dreams. Yeah. I like Toyota's dream. Bring a smile to people's face, make as many customers happy in the most frugal way possible, and just be serious. And this is not one guy's dream. This is thousands of engineers over, decades working very hard at it. And then we have the innovation. So this is, to me, is progress. What I'm seeing here is another way to progress. And then we have the innovation dream. Look at what's happened to us. All these guys with these innovations, and we don't see progress. We see we're falling backwards on services, on things that we used to take for granted that are not there anymore. And innovation does not necessarily deliver progress. So it's a long-winded answer to your question, but again, I have very mixed feelings about it. I have nothing against innovation. I think it's necessary. But I find it very interesting that progress, which I used to believe in, has disappeared from the conversation and has been replaced for innovation, which puts business leaders in a very difficult position. Because the market, the stock market, the valuation of stocks, will value innovation, but won't value progress. So if you look at the incentive is for you to go crazy. Find an innovation, my friend. Convince investors, get all this money and then crash and burn. So I have a very good example of a company I work with where they've been serious about it. They are innovating, but they still want to deliver EBITDA every year and to build this innovation so we have progress. And their competitors, at some point, their competitors were going to take over the world, and now they've all disappeared. But that's the innovation game. It doesn't matter. Because the CEO of these burn and crash companies still wins personally. Does a cash out and still wins. So the question you're asking for a boss is very difficult. Because if you go all into some kind of crazy innovation, whether it is progress or not, whether it is adopted or not, hey, you cash out. If you actually want to build something serious, it means that you invest some of your money in training people, in maintenance, in stability. And the stock market doesn't like you, just the way the stock market doesn't like Toyota, regardless of its results. So if every investor was like Warren Buffett, prices sold, you would have many Toyotas. But most investors are not like Warren Buffett. We know it. We have noticed by now.
Yeah.
So you have many Teslas.
So from what and thank you for sharing that very transparent and authentic opinion, Mike. From what I see is that we are losing a bit of the value. We are losing like the foundations of the system. It's more like a competition when you say about innovation, it's not about progress. It's just basically compete to the other and see if I can cash out or no. But now you make me think about it. Like we are losing that the foundations of the principles of TPMs, the principle of how
We're
do you
losing the. We're not losing anything. What's happening is what you said is value. Ultimately, markets reward value. But currently, the incentives are that even people who do not produce value can cash out. So the incentives are skewed, and we know what happens when incentives are skewed. Incentives get wrong, we get crazy behavior. So again, it's not, we don't know what's going to happen, but what Toyota teaches us is how to deliver value. And what they understand, I was in Japan a couple of weeks ago and talking to these guys again, and the Toyota veterans, and they understand that to succeed, they need to deliver value to all stakeholders. So they need to deliver value to their customers, but to their suppliers, to their employees, to their shareholders, they need to deliver value to everybody. I think everybody understands the theory of it, and I think everybody on paper is okay with that. I mean, there's nothing, everybody agrees on that. But currently, since 2005, the monetary incentives are not aligned with delivering long-term value. They're aligned with delivering a promise of value through innovation. So you can see all these companies, we read it in the press every day. One day they tell you that they're going to change the world with this and that. Yeah. And the next day you have this terrible scandal. And you see them, going to jail with, okay, happens every day. To me, these are not individual stories. There's a problem in what currently the stock market incentivizes.
Okay.
Thank you. Which is why we have nothing to say to a business owner, because it's a personal choice. The incentives are not there to do the hard work to deliver profound value. However, if you do so, you'll last more than 5 or 10 years. You probably have a longer term. But for many of these global corporations, 5 or 10 years is impossible. They change jobs every 4 years. They're there for the quick game, But Toyota is not the only company that delivers long-term value. I mean, Apple has been incredible.
Yeah.
And I think Steve Jobs learned a lot from Lean when he built Apple. And they have this steady flow of products. And Tim Cook has been a very serious CEO, and it's a serious company. And they do continue to deliver value, and they do continue to be, they do well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. Changing a little bit the topic, Mike. Now with this new era of artificial intelligence getting adapted in many films. Now manufacturing is part of that. We are working or hearing about digital transformation. How do you see currently how the factories, how the businesses in manufacturing has been adapting to this transformation? Is the people being resilient?
When I was last in Taiwan, it's a place I know quite well. It was very interesting because there's, what they say, first generation, second generation, third generation. These are family businesses. So these are businesses that were built around their machines. They're usually subcontractors of parts, and they were crazy about their machines. It was very good TPM. Not necessarily flow and all the Toyota things, but they really understood how to make parts with their machines. And then comes in the second or third generation of family owners, and they don't know what to do, so they go digital. So what they do, go digital, so now we have digital systems that with IoTs, and in many plants we see them, that all the machines are connected. This creates an overload of information. You have information about everything everywhere. But what is interesting is the plants are looking worse than they did 10 years ago. or 20 years ago. Because all this information creates information overload. Information is only valuable, back to value, if the person who receives the information knows how to use it. If not, it's just noise. So if you invest in a lot more information, but not training your TPM guys, when they get the information that it's exactly this machine doing something wrong at this time, they still don't know what to do about it. So when you look at it, and if you look at it from a lean way, you have three flows. You have the material flow, you have the information flow, and you have the money flow, right? These things are always going on in your company. So if you increase the information flow, but you don't increase the capacity to deal with it, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So again, there are no absolutes with any of these things. It's understanding the full cycle. More information is better if we have the added capacity to deal with it. The research I've read tells me that we overwhelm people's capacity to deal with information somewhere in the 90s already with email.
Wow.
So the increase of information a person receives is way beyond what a person can deal with, which is why we have all these things about having to learn to meditate and wellness and mindfulness, all these things, actually, because it's a real problem. We're overwhelmed with information that we don't know what to do with. Now, if you go deeper into that problem, the rich information, do you know what rich and poor information is?
Yes.
Rich information is information that you understand something better, or it's easier to make a decision. Poor information is information that doesn't tell you anything. It's true, but you can't. It doesn't help you to understand.
Doesn't tell you anything.
Now, so what's interesting is that as we've increased massively the information that we get and we transmit, everything's become a LinkedIn post. It's poor information. So it's very easy to see. I can see I've been a writer all my life because I'm more of a writer than an industrial expert, but and I can see the books written up to 1990 and after 2000. You know, the quality of the information in the books is poor and poor. So we do have a problem in terms of value because we've unbalanced the system through too much information without equal ability to do stuff with it. So there are winners here. I mean, some people, clearly the tech companies and so forth, know what to do with this information.
Yeah.
But most of us don't.
Okay. So, wow. So my took away from these two, from this answer, Mike, is that one, looks like we are not ready yet. When I say we are in the whoever is involved in manufacturing in Lean Six Sigma area, is that we are not ready yet, or we haven't realized the importance of the transformation, right? Of the digital transformation. That's one. That's why I think. And second one is that
more information is good if you know what to do with it.
With information, but we are not putting the effort, as you said, we are not putting the effort to specializing, to training, to educating.
Think about it in the plan, it's very clear. We have lots of information on what goes wrong, what should be fixed, and so forth. But how many people do we have who actually know how to fix a machine? That's very simple. So we know more and more, and this has a consequence in digital companies, and that was brought with Google when they killed management. And this is that now people are spending a lot of time managing performance. They explain why performance is not here and there. Okay, that's fine. But where do you fix it? And at some point, there's still a material flow.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to fix the material flow, you're sitting in the coffee shop, they can have all the information they want, But if
Yeah.
they don't know how to be friendly with customers and make good coffee, this information is only going to serve to explain their poor performance. And when you're in large companies, this is what you see. Management has become performance management. It's not actually using the information to directly fix anything because nobody knows how to.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting, Mike. And something that if you wanna share with for whoever is listening us in this long career that you have been working, is there anything that you can say, wow, 20 years ago I have this conception, I have this belief, and after 20 years I realized that no, maybe we have to change that. We have to make it in a different role, or basically you consider that the things go in the same way, just for whoever wants to, and for young generation, those 20s guys that they don't want to be part of manufacturing. It's a very boring area. Or if you want to share something like, okay, now we have something new, something different that we were making in the past that is wrong.
That's an interesting question. What do we do better now than we did then? We're not as tough as we were. We were very brutal. In terms of what we did better, I can't see anything we do better now.
Okay.
I think we have been. I mean, I grew up with the lean story I have is not mine. It's my father who discovered Toyota back in '75, and he taught me
Oh,
everything I know. But it was a brutal. It was brutal. It was brutal, and clearly we have softened the tone. Now, interestingly, we also have softened the results. It's like, but in terms of something we do better, I really can't see. I think what's happening. I have Can I make political statements in your program?
100%.
I think there is a misunderstanding for somebody of my generation. As I say, I've been there a long time. We used to think of back to my idea of progress. We used to think we were progressing. In the 90s, there was some very smart guy who came up with a stupid book. He called it. He said it was the end of history.
Okay.
Because liberal democracy had established itself, and this will bring progress. Again, we're building the shining city on the hill. And it turned out that liberal bureaucracy was a bubble created by Roosevelt and the New Deal. It was fragile. It was not a progress. We thought it was a next step of humanity, of societies, that societies learned. And you come from Venezuela, so you probably realize what a stupid idea this is, because it always goes back to what it is, doesn't it? So it's been very difficult for us. Seeing what we're seeing now is we're going back to what it is, which is it's all about power, showing that you have power, using your power, and be proud about it. This bubble that we had for a while of liberal democracy was just a bubble. So basically, we had the robber barons up to the 1920s, and then we had the Depression, and then the Roosevelt team came in, and they legiferated. They put laws that had stopped anybody from making any money, and they invested massively in public works and actually progress.
Uh,
And this held till about the end of the 90s, because when the Glass-Steagall Act was repealed, and it was free for all again, because we had finished the Cold War. We had won the Cold War, so go for it. And now we are in the results of go for it.
okay.
So it has consequences for everybody. And it's particularly difficult, I think, for the young, because they still have this dream of the world, the bubble, the Roosevelt bubble. They think this is the way it should be. But clearly they look around them and it's not.
Yeah.
But guys, you have to wake up. This was not a next phase of humanity. It was a moment in time. It was a bubble. And we're returning to the normal phase of the humanity, is that you have the dukes and the duchesses and the powerful people, the courtiers around them, and everybody else.
Exactly.
So what is happening is not like a disastrous return backwards. It's the end of a moment. And when you see it this way, I think that it has a lot of implications individually for how you position yourself in it.
Yeah. Agree. Agree. Wow. Very powerful. Very powerful. The way that we can see things, how we're in the past, and the implication or the impact that we will see in the future. Mike, um, can you share with us what has been the most toughest project or experience that you have been working with in terms of, for example, that was a very challenge for you, that was you were quite uncertain to do a step and say, you know what, I can help, and the most satisfactory experience or a team that you have been working with, if you want to share with us also. I think for that there will be a
You have to
many.
be, you're a millennial, right?
Yeah, millennial.
You ask me questions I would never ask myself. I have no idea. Man, I mean, that is so much not how I think. All right. Okay, here's the thing we learned from Toyota. We learned from Toyota what it is to break down problems in a meaningful way. So we learn from Toyota to understand how things work. When we have an ambition and a goal, we learn that we need to break it down into workable chunks. Yeah. To do so, we need to learn about how things work first. So if I'm in the coffee shop and I want it to be far more successful, I need to break down the problem in terms of what needs to happen to be far more successful. And then I need to work on each of these things and work steadily. Yeah, you with me?
Yeah. Okay.
This is actually very tough. Breaking down the problem correctly is very tough. And when you meet Toyota veterans and you see their A3s and how they broken down the problem, you go, wow, how do they know how to do this? And of course, these are very experienced people who understand how things work. Okay. So I don't know about the most challenging. I've been very fortunate. I've had very little challenges in my life. It's all been, I've had many failures, but not much challenges. But so the challenge is this: how do you explain people to break down problems in a good way? Usually they come back with what they already know. Mm-hmm. So the A3 you get is the guy is going to tell you that he just put in an A3 what he wanted to do beforehand. Because he doesn't understand how things works. He understands how one little bit works, but he doesn't make the effort to really understand how it works because nobody's ever taught him. So back to what is difficult and frustrating is not to get annoyed. People don't know what they don't know. So you have to know that you're just going to have to repeat it, and it's going to be slow. So what happens in a lean transformation, and that's not particularly a challenge, but if you have this idea of progress, this is what we do. We want the company to progress. Essentially, we want better, happier customers, more engaged people. So we have growth with EBITDA. That's what it comes down to. It's not that hard. This means that we have a method, which is we need to find solutions that improve quality, flexibility, and cost at the same time. Okay, these things are trade-offs. It's not easy, but it's not rocket science either. This is not SpaceX. This is not putting a rocket and landing it. Okay, just it's a matter of working at it. Okay. But to achieve this, you really need to be interested in how things work. Not how they should work, not the surface, not what you know. There's an effort there. And we have a generation of people who are not trained on how they should, and digital has something to do with it. I'm still of a generation that when you're a kid, you would pull apart an alarm clock and never be able to put it together, but we all did that. We were curious about how things worked. Medicine was about pulling apart people, mechanics was about pulling apart machines, and trying to discover what made them work. When you have this thing, what happens for the kids is nothing to do with the way it works. And I was watching the Star Trek new show that is supposed to be a prequel to Kirk Enterprise. Well, in Kirk's Enterprise, James Tiberius Kirk, you with me? Star Trek,
yeah. I know
they push buttons. When they press something, they know something happens. They're gonna in cars, they have to get some safety functions. You still need to push a button because your mind needs to connect a mechanical action with an effect. Now they've done this prequel, but they haven't got the push buttons. They've got digital, so you see them go on screens. You have to understand that with a screen, your mind doesn't connect what you're doing on the screen with the effect. So it creates this impression that it's like having an app, that if you move the lever up or down in an app, something in the physical world is happening. But no, it's not. So this is the big thing that has changed, is our relationship to the physical world. So back to the question about what is most challenging. Most challenging is get people interested in how things work. You're a millennial. You will tell me about how I feel about things. I don't know. It depends on what time you ask me, one day or more. I don't know how I feel about things. Or you're going to ask me about what I stand for. And again, these are the two questions you ask me all the time. I honestly, I don't know. I'm a logos guy. I'm not a pathos or ethos guy. I want to understand how things work. And if you understand how things work, then you can change it. Then you can change things. So if there's, sorry, I'm being long-winded here because I haven't thought these through.
No, that's okay.
Basically, you understand there's logos, pathos, and ethos, right? There's how you feel about things, how you want to be seen, and what you want to represent, and simply the logic of things. So this is where we've shifted. So the frustration is that it's very hard, if you say, okay, how does this or that work? And the person in front of you, but how do you feel about it? I don't feel too good about it. How do you feel about it? You say, I don't know. And then they say, yeah, but I don't stand for this. I want to be a greener world or this or that. I want to be something. And I say, fine. But by the time you have these two conversations, it's very hard to go back to the moment you say, okay, but how does it actually work? So this is incredibly frustrating. And you have to work to be patient, and I'm not that old yet. It's very, very difficult. So the whole Toyota system is built about taking better decisions because people go to the Gemba and go into the detail of how things work. But it's very difficult to have with people who are about how they feel about how it should be. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, it is what it is, man.
It's true. I think so. Sometimes we do not spend the right time to understand how the things work, because it's when you understand, as you said, your experience, how in Toyota the ways of working, as better you understand the problem, as better you will find the solution. Yeah. But normally they will stay in that process because nobody understand in detail the process, and then we just shooting solution because I already thinking that that's the right, but I
No,
think so.
because
It's very common.
you don't feel good about this, or you like this solution. You have to understand that rationality is understanding that you like and don't like ideas. Ideas have a taste in your head. So there are ideas you like because you understand them, and ideas you don't like. Then there are things that work and things that don't work, and it's not the same. So when you have an idea that you like that works, that's easy. When you have an idea that doesn't, something that doesn't work and you don't like the idea, that's easy as well. But what happens if something works that you don't like it, or if you like an idea that doesn't work? This is most of the
Exactly.
time.
It's different. Let me share something with you, Mike. We did some exercise. We worked in a project a couple of months ago when we delivery delivery a reduction of a loss in a process. And after 6 months, uh, the loss went back to to what were right. And the owner of this business, he was giving us some feedback. Okay, we give us, you guys give him a process, you guys deliver what you're supposed to deliver, but now that you guys are gone 6 months after, yes, and this the capital, the human capital, the human part is playing a main role there. So I
But but
completely
but
relate.
but this is interesting because this is mean the guy you work for doesn't understand what consultancy is like.
Yeah.
This always, if you understand how the world works, this always happens with consultants. You hire consultants, you hire extra resources that you put on the process. So while they're there, of course, it works better because you have extra resources, more control, more knowledge, extra resources, correct? But if you take these extra resources away, what is going to happen? It's called reversal to the mean. It's going to go back to what it was. This is how things work. It's not it's not a bug, it's a feature.
It's a feature.
So if
It's
you
an
understand how
accessory.
things work, you're less surprised. Of course, this happened. What is astonishing is the number of people who keep trying. you know?
Yeah, it's true. How do you see the consulting in lean manufacturing nowadays? Is becoming a habit for the owners, or there's no a strong belief on that service?
I have no idea. I don't do consulting. I work differently, and I don't know
Okay.
that many consultants. I don't know. I think it's very different from person to person. But fundamentally, the question of value is achieved, I believe, through human capital. So, look, you're in a coffee shop, and do you agree there are some better coffee shops than others? What makes the difference between a better coffee shop than other?
Could be the price of the cost of the coffee, the quality of the coffee,
Really? Isn't it
the
because
vibe,
pe- isn't it because they're nice to you?
of course, the satisfaction that you get after they service the
And
coffee.
isn't it because they're welcoming and they know how to keep it clean and they know how to use a machine? So the person that is handling the coffee shop has skills that make it the coffee shop. Now, if what matters more if you have a downturn, should you replace the machines in the coffee shop or replace the people? Well, here's the thing. We don't replace people. The people are invaluable. You can always replace a machine.
Wow.
At home, if your washing machine is not working, you're not going to replace yourself. You're going to change your washing machine. Correct?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
very simple. What makes the coffee shop work is the person. And the people who know how to make a coffee shop work are rare because they have to understand how a coffee shop works. They have to know how to work the machines, how to smile to customers, how to keep it clean, how to do the supplies, and how to make money on all of this. Now, most people think about the machines first. They say, I want to have a chain of coffee shops. I'll just put in machines and I'll find somebody to run them. And then they don't understand why some work and some don't. The consulting deal is the same. If you're sending consultants to fix how the machines are used, while the consultant is there, as good as the consultant is, while the consultant is there, if you're not training the people themselves to better use the machines, the moment the consultant leaves, it goes back to before. Because it's not about the machines, it's about knowing how to use them.
Wow.
Machine is a pretty obvious example, but if you're running manufacturing, the skill is usually in programming, in the scheduling. So of course, if you have a good consultant that understands, say, Junka and goes into the master scheduling and how to schedule work, suddenly everything goes better scheduling. But this is a difficult skill. So if you don't teach people how to schedule better scheduling, the plant goes better.
Yeah.
End of story. Better scheduling of maintenance, better scheduling of deliveries, better scheduling of everything. The plant works better. End of story. That's it. But that's a very complex skill. So if you don't teach the people, if you go in and schedule for them for a while, of course it's all better. But then if you leave, they're going to go back to scheduling the way they know.
As simple as that, eh?
As simple as that. Look at the coffee shop. You go into some coffee shops and you think, oh my God. And they have the same machines. You're in Europe. Astonishing. I'm very fortunate. I work in Italy a lot. And believe me, the same machines make complete different coffee in France and Italy. And in Italy, you go to the toilet, it's always clean. And in France, it's always dirty. Same equipment, different people.
Different ways of working.
Any operations. So what brings you value is human capital. And Toyota's big, not so secret thing, they've said it all along, is that you have a system to build the human capital as well as invest in the machines. Now, when I work with CEOs and say I can always see the investment plan. We're going to invest 80 million on machines for this new line. And ask them, okay, where's the people investment plan? What? They'll manage the machines. I'm sure they will. But with what level of efficiency?
Yeah, for the expectation that you are planning, you have to invest in the people, right? The resources.
Yeah.
Thinking a long term.
No, thinking in short term. You invest, you invest 10 million in a factory, and you have the 10 big machines, and you want to press the button, start, and it's a disaster.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking long term. I'm thinking right now.
Just to start.
You open a new coffee shop, and you don't want to run it yourself, and you bring in somebody off the streets that run the coffee shop, and it's a disaster, and you die in 3 months. I'm not talking long term. I'm talking understanding that there is capital, there is labor, and then there is human capital, which is the ability labor has to run the capital. It's not that hard to understand. But that part doesn't appear in the accounts. It doesn't appear in the books. It's seen as a cost. So we're back to our original discussion about what should business owners do now. They don't care. They prefer to fail because they don't know what to do about the human capital. But it's what can I say? It's crazy. It's irrational.
It's irrational. Wow, Mike. Thank you. I think we are reaching right to already the end of this episode. I has been learning a lot, and I'm pretty sure whoever
what do you take away from the conversation?
Well,
how do you feel about it? As
I
a
think,
podcaster, is this how you want to appear?
well, no, to be honest, I completely relate. I completely relate. We focus, we always focus on the problems in the machines or in the process, in the method. Has been working the consultant side in the informal way, now in a formally way, and I can see that there is a gap over there, and normally we don't, when I say we don't, could be also the owners. They don't want to spend that time. They don't want to have that patience to invest, to segregate the time, to build the team, to build the people that is working for you, that is working in that process. As I just said, not only in a long term, also in the immediately results that for whatever project is needed. So it's an opportunity. It's a problem that we are dealing with, but it's an opportunity because whoever are listen us, they will understand, like if they want me to be successful in my business, could be a coffee shop, could be
You have to
whatever.
look at it. You have capital. We understand this is in the books. We have labor. It's in the books. How many people you have, what cost. We have human capital. And without human capital, these two things simply don't work. So you have to learn to force yourself to say, okay, a coffee shop, I found the space, I bought the best machines to do coffee, I have my capital, and I find some people I have some employees, but where's the human capital? And in the short term, the moment you open, it will make the difference between your success and your failure.
It's a key. It's a key.
Yeah.
100%. Otherwise, the process is unbalanced, right? Wow. Thank you, Michael. And
And
hopefully,
to finish on this, back to your question on digital, what digital gives the illusion is that you can replace the human capital with digital process because you can control everything. So you can take labor, a person, and you can then follow the screens, follow everything that you see them go and you think this is good enough to make your capital work. But that is an illusion. That is not human capital. That is just control, managing the performance, not building the human capital.
wow. I never think it in that way. I never realized it. That point of view is true. We are too more focused in the technology, but we are not very focused on how our people will be able to manage that technology. And as I just said, back to the previous questions, you can have a lot of information, but could be considered poor information, poor
if you don't
data,
know what to do with it.
if you don't know what to do it, right? It's true. So maybe I can say, okay, I have a business and I'm doing the transformation to the digital, and that can sounds innovative based on the previous conversation.
But
Oh,
where's the
innovative.
progress? Where is the progress?
Where's the value? Where's the
Where's the
value
value?
that's giving you to
Absolutely.
your process to transform in digital? Well, no, I'm just because everybody's doing it. My competitors are doing it as well. I just want to be in that train. Okay, but at the end, where's the value? Where's the steps to your process?
What is the good of information if you don't know what to do with it? Yeah, it's as simple as that.
As simple as that. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Miguel.
I really appreciate for this conversation. This was not only of course, a part of my episode in the podcast. It's also like a class. I just get almost 15 minutes class from you, not only for the manufacturing, also for a little bit about the life, which I'm very glad. Thank you so much, Michael, and hopefully I see you in the future again. Thank you.